something that I've just been thinking about a lot, and I actually have a video coming out about it this weekend, but and I want to ask you about your experience in the past, Ewok, and past market cycles, but just to alert as we do talk about new people entering this market over the next 2 years, um, people into what looks like a great coin to get into, a great token to get into that everybody is shilling on YouTube, and whether it's I don't even remember his name, Ben Armstrong, whatever, Bit Boy. I
Boy,
couldn't remember.
yeah.
Somehow couldn't remember that. But yeah, him and whatever. I don't even care. Like all the other shillers and influencers and stuff like that. There's going to be like very common tokens that they all have in their portfolio. And one of them right now that I am constantly seeing stuff about Arbitrum all over the place. Like, and I know it's like Optimism. It's another layer 2 that's all about Ethereum gas fees and blah, blah, blah. It's been a blockchain, Arbitrum, that's already been around for a while. They just released a useless governance token. Like, that's why most of the tokens, when you hear shitcoin, for anybody that is newer to the market, it's not just that sometimes it's just a Bitcoin maxi that just thinks everything else, like even an ETH is a shitcoin. But it's actually because there's no need for these tokens. Like Arbitrum really has no use for its token. It's a governance token. And what that means is you basically vote on, things for the VC backed people who, bought seed rounds of Arbitrum at pennies on the dollar, what they do next, and blah, blah, blah. So it's just okay. Arbitrum, Optimism, Aptos, I'm trying to think of like other huge, the Solanas of years past, they are going to go up in price likely. They're probably, compared to old school finance, they're going to go up in price a lot. They're not going to outpace some of the better opportunities in crypto, like Hex that we're talking about here tonight. But realize that when you are dealing with a heavily VC-backed token like that, they can really dump on you at any time. There's a lot more unpredictability. You don't know who's behind it. Solana really was the example of this in the last bull cycle. Never mind the fact that the blockchain doesn't really like work or anything. And we all know that Sam Bankman-Fried obviously is the Solana man. So it's just something to watch out for, because you're going to hear this Arbitrum stuff all over the place. It's going to probably shoot up the top 15 market cap. Like these coins debut in the top 50, and all of a sudden everybody's talking about them, and there's a new airdrop like every other week and stuff. And it's just the L1 and L2, layer 1 and layer 2 narrative, I think, of the past cycle is just not one that's really going to be important this cycle. Yeah, we do need people helping out Ethereum and stuff like that. It's going to happen. Pulse Chain's another layer 1 that has a huge user base already coming. But you're going to get a lot of these, and I just don't think they're worth investing in. And I think it's going to be a common trap that newer people get into, that we're probably not going to be able to help, influence away from it. But, we can say our piece. So what are some trends that you saw in past cycles, Ewok, that, it was obviously even more scammy in past cycles, but that you knew were really more than anything out to prey on new investors?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there. I mean, there's always, like you said, every cycle there's new things that try to launch before it happens. All these VCs get in, they ride it up, and then they dump on your head. And people don't sell at the right time to get out too, because they've probably just entered the market. They see this thing going up. They've heard somebody talk about it. And they jump on, they ride it all the way up, and then they ride it all the way back down.
Right.
It's usually how they go. We saw the same thing last cycle. The cycle before that, I remember, that was when Dash and all of these other coins, there were just a whole different batch of them. I don't remember half of them at this point anymore because they were just that insignificant, But I'm sure I bought some of them here and there and did the same thing. Rode it all the way to the top. The people knew about the cycles a lot more than I did because I was uneducated in the space. And, they all cashed out. But, here's the thing. You got to remember that even Vitalik and those guys, they sell the tops too.
Right.
They know when the top is. The Ethereum Foundation sold 300,000 Ethereum, and then made the top. So Vitalik was part of that as well. So it's not just these other coins that do that. It's a lot of them. And I'll never forget the day that Charlie Lee, who was the founder of Litecoin, did the same thing. He felt that he didn't think that he should be a major holder anymore, and he made the top as well of that cycle and just dumped on everybody's heads.
Thanks,
So
Charlie. Charlie, we appreciate you thinking you should no longer be a major holder and dumping on
yeah,
everybody.
so I mean, it's not just the little coins. It can happen everywhere, and it's one of the reasons why, I've stayed strong with Hex, because I know Richard. So here's what I see, the way I see it. We talk about the early days of Bitcoin, and you and I have been talking about this, earlier, um, how centralized ownership that Bitcoin really was in the beginning. Satoshi owned 1 million coins, basically pre-mined it before anybody even really joined the network. And everybody comes out and be like, "Oh, that's not true. That's not true. Anybody could mine." Yeah, they could, but they didn't know about it. Meanwhile, he minted 1 million coins. He owned 90 some percent of it. And then he went away. Um, Richard kind of emulated everything that happened along the way with Bitcoin. And that's why he has always called, Hex the better Bitcoin. He took all these parameters of what happened then and moved them into this new coin. And again, it's another thing that leads me to believe that the OA will never sell. They've been nothing but good to the network, and benevolent, as far as I'm concerned, with everything that's happened. So, you know, I hate arguing with these maxis sometimes, and I just have to like step away and say, Not even worth it to argue," because they want to say all these new shit coins have centralized ownership and Bitcoin doesn't. I'm like, well, you forget the only thing Bitcoin has going for it is time. It's got 10 years on a lot of these things. And since then, it's been diluted. So they all kind of start out that way. You have to have a centralized ownership to start out. It's just what the founders are going to do with it, whether they remain benevolent or if they dump on your head or rug pull. So, it's just it's one of those things that you just have to really find the right thing and have to find the right person to believe in. So
HexPassiveIncome.com. My friend Crypto Coffee has created what I think is probably the best course for a new cryptocurrency investor. Not only that, but these courses usually charge an arm and a leg. Crypto Coffee is only charging $200. I think right now he actually has a discount for $150. I have a link below in the description. If you are new to crypto, do not understand Hex and how it works, click the link below. It's a quick, easy course. He only gives you the basics. I personally, myself, have thought about creating an intro to crypto course in the past. I don't think there's any reason to do so because Matt, Crypto Coffee, has already taken care of that. And I don't think anything needs to be added by anybody else. So check it out. The link is in the description, and sign up to Hex Passive Income today.
And contrary to popular belief, that's what's so funny, and exactly what you just said about the Bitcoin people is like they weren't even in Bitcoin early enough. Clearly, the Bitcoin maxis were not in early enough to even know when it was more centralized. So the Bob Lucases, who I like Bob Lucas, but like those people outwardly will criticize Hex and Richard Hart and stuff like that and talk about like all the OA and everything. And it's, same thing with the early days of Bitcoin. Like contrary to popular belief, that's when you want to be getting in on an asset. Is it riskier? Yeah. Is the potential for reward much higher? Yeah. And it's
yep.
like, like you said, there really is no point even arguing with those people because it's just, they are over here in a way of thinking and we are over here. And there's just no way, it's like a far right and a far left person talking. Like the two extremes that are the loudest on social media and stuff that we all just hate and don't want to deal with. Like that's like talking to a Bitcoin maxi. That it's just who they are. They're never going to change, So it is what it is. And again, I guess you got to pump your own bags a little bit too for them, but
Yep.
especially since there's diminishing returns now. So